What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. In the last episode, we took down Blaine on Cinnabar Island over here. And now in this episode, we are on the road to Viridian City. We are trying to make our way back to Viridian City, obviously, where we sort of started our adventure. We started, obviously, in Pallet, but Viridian was where you actually get, like, the parcel for Professor Oak, and it's the first, like, actual town in this game. Because obviously Pallet Town is a town, but it doesn't have, like, the things that all the other towns do, that are, like, a Pokemon Center, a mart, a gym. It's the first, like, major town, I'd say. Like, the first town where there's actually, like, things happening. The first really happening town. Pallet Town is sort of like a, people live here, but it's not really, like, a big town that people like actually travel to. It's just kind of out of the way. It's not really a tourist town. It's just sort of a town where people live, not a lot of people. It's a small town. But anyway, feel the sun and the wind. This guy is just swimming along in the ocean, swimming around in the ocean. It's a gymnast, and we're gonna be fighting a lot of people swimming around in the ocean. I don't know how many. I don't think it's actually like that many, but this is not the only guy, I know that much. But yeah, I was just thinking about, like, pretty recently, and by pretty recently I mean like a couple minutes ago, it popped into my head. So I figure I might as well bring it up in the video. So it just basically popped into my head that, like, the Mega Mushroom serves like basically no purpose in New Super Mario Bros. 2. Like, why is it even in that game? The only purpose that the Mega Mushroom serves in New Super Mario Bros. 2 is just, like, being there. Because in New Super Mario Bros., obviously New Super Mario Bros. Introduced the Mini Mushroom and the Mega Mushroom. And one of those power-ups is actually a good power-up. And, oddly enough, it's the one that doesn't make you gigantic. It's the one that makes you tiny. The one that makes you smaller is actually the better power-up, if you think about it. Because, like, yeah, Mega Mushroom just makes you invincible, and you can, like, walk around stomping everything in your path for a while. And, like, yeah, it may be the better power-up, like, in terms of actual use. But who actually likes the Mega Mushroom more than they like the Mini Mushroom? Like, let's be honest, the Mini Mushroom is just so cool. Mega Mushroom is like, you get big, and it's like, who cares? It's that thing that Nintendo does. Like, I think that Mega Mushroom was the first situation of it. And then obviously it happened again with Sword and Shield, where they introduced the mechanic of Dynamax, and then they were just like, oh, Pokemon get big. But like, and it's like, nobody thinks that's cool. Like, they got rid of Mega Evolution and replaced it with Dynamax, and people are like, okay, so let me get this straight. You got rid of like the cool transformations that completely alter the Pokemon's appearance and stats and ability, and you replaced it with Pokemon Get Big. And then Game Freak's like, yep, isn't that so cool? Look, it's giant now. And it's like, yeah, so cool. Yeah, I lost. But yeah, I feel like Nintendo just goes through these phases where they just, like, decide to insert big mechanic here. I can't really name another time they've done that, but it happened twice, so I feel like it's worth mentioning. I call all my Pokemon at sea. Like, if it happens twice, it's the start of a trend, you know? I feel like I should mention it now, and I think that if it happens again, then it'll be like an actual trend. Right now it's starting to become a trend, you know? Because, like, Mario, it was just like with like New Super Mario Bros., it was just a stupid one-up thing. Like, back then it was just like, oh, Mario get big, and it's like, wow, so cool, but actually, like, who cares, you know? Mega Mushroom is cool for, like, all of 5 seconds, and then you realize it has really no practical use. It's just like a star, but instead of getting rainbowy and doing somersaults, which is actually kind of cool, you just get big. Diver, down! So basically, it's like the less cool invincibility power-up, which makes it just not that cool, I'll be honest. Keep me company till I get hit. Till I get a hit or till I get hit? I don't know. Oh no, I don't know which one he said. But yeah, like, New Super Mario Bros. Mega Mushroom already served like very little purpose. Like it was cool. I think it was good for like promotional reasons because they're like, wow, look at how cool it is that Mario get big, and you see that and you're like, oh yeah, that is really cool. But the thing about that is that it's really only good for promotional reasons. Like I feel like I feel like a lot of people saw Mega Mushroom in like that promotional material for New Super Mario Bros. And they were encouraged to get New Super Mario Bros. because of the Mega Mushroom. Because it's just like, wow, that's really cool. And like, I could see how that would be cool upon like a first glance. It's like, oh yeah, Mario got really big. That's awesome. Now he can just like stomp on everything. And it does look really satisfying to just like stomp around, killing everything, like knocking over pipes, just like stomping Goombas into the dirt. I mean, you can already do that, but now it's even more efficient. Now you could just like literally walk. Like you don't even have to jump up and land on them. You can literally just like walk, and your foot just crashes down on them over and over while you're literally just walking. Like you don't even have to move your. You don't have to like pick up your legs from the ground. You literally just have to like walk. That burned some time. Yes, it did. Thank you for giving me more time for my. Thank you for giving me more video time. I guess I don't know. Hey, don't scare away the fish. But yeah, it's just like it seems really cool from a promotional standpoint because like when you're looking at promotional stuff for the game, for a video game, you tend to like latch on to the things that like stick out. Because obviously, like, when you look at the promotional material for a game, especially when it's Mario, you expect a certain thing. When it's like a well-known series, especially in the case of Mario, you expect certain things. Like, there are certain things you just see coming, because there are certain things that are like always constant in Mario. Like, you know, he's gonna be collecting coins. You know, there's gonna be like a mushroom or a fire or a flower, a mushroom power-up or a flower power-up. Probably mushroom, super mushroom, or fire flower. Like, certain things you just come to expect. With famous series, especially with Mario. So when they mix it up like that, like, that's the stuff that that an audience really clings to. That's the stuff that really, like, gets the audience's attention. And so, the Mega Mushroom, I feel, was very good for that. And I feel like a lot of copies of New Super Mario Bros. Were sold purely because they were like, wow, Mega Mushroom, that's so cool, he got gigantic. That looks so satisfying to just destroy everything in your path. Sorry, I didn't mean it. But really what people were not thinking about, I feel, if they bought the game because of the Mega Mushroom, was the actual practical use of it. They just looked at it and were like, oh yeah, that looks really cool. I can't wait to just stomp on everything. And they didn't think about like what that does to the game from a gameplay standpoint, and the fact that it's really not that interesting. Like, it's a fun novelty. It's fun like the first couple times around, but if you just like stomp through every level with a Mega Mushroom, that's not fun. The thing about the Mega Mushroom that is different from the Mini Mushroom is that the Mini Mushroom actually has a practical use. The Mega Mushroom is just like, oh, you want this level to be like really easy, you want to just like stomp through the entire thing, then put on a Mega Mushroom. And like, yeah, it will run out at a certain point, and then you'll have to do the rest of the level without the Mega Mushroom. So it's not like, oh, put on Mega Mushroom to win. It's not like an invincibility leaf later on in the series, where it's just like, oh, this is the I'm gonna win power-up, like this is the cheating power-up. It's not really cheating, like a star. Like, a star isn't really cheating. A star is just kind of like, oh, it makes you invincible for a while, and then it runs out. It's the same thing with the Metal Cap, and the same thing here with the Mega Mushroom. And so it's not like a cheating thing, like an invincibility leaf, but at the same time, it's really not that interesting. Like, the fact that it runs out makes it not a cheating thing, yeah, but it also makes it not super interesting, because, like, with a Mini Mushroom, you can keep that for as long as you can keep it, you know? Like, the Mini Mushroom doesn't run out, because it's just a power-up like every other power-up. But the Mega Mushroom is just another one of these makes you invincible for a short period of time power-ups, which aren't that cool because, like, first of all, only lasts for a short period of time, obviously. So you don't get a lot of use out of it. And then, like, even if you did get a lot of... And then, like, if they wanted to fix that problem, they could make it so you did get a lot of use out of it, but then it would just be, like, unstoppable, you know? You just... with the Mega Mushroom, if they made it like give it like a bigger timer, that would fix the problem of it like not being as memorable or as useful, because then you would have to be able to have it for longer and therefore do more things with it, but then it would just be too broken. So it runs into this problem that it is like not useful enough because it doesn't last for long enough, but it would be too useful. It would be too broken, too powerful, too busted if it lasted for longer. So it's just kind of in this weird place where there's nothing really interesting that they could have done with it. There's no real tweaks that they could have made to actually make this power-up work and be cool. Because you have these invincibility power-ups. Like, it would be one thing if it was the first time, because, like, Superstar, I feel, will always be cool to a degree. It's fun to just watch, it's fun to just, like, get the Superstar and hear that, and then, like, watch Mario glowing all rainbow, all these different colors, and he does backflips instead of jumps. Like, that, to an extent, is always gonna be cool, because it's just so energetic, and it just feels so, like, fast-paced, and, like, nothing can stop you. It really gives you that dopamine rush. The sea cleanses my body and soul. But, like, the Mega Mushroom, the music is, like, pretty good for the Mega Mushroom, but it comes nowhere near capturing the pure adrenaline that is the Superstar. And then, like, so Superstar is really, like, a good example of it, because of, like, how these invincibility, like, an invincibility power-up in Mario that is, like, actually exciting to get. Because you're, like, invincible, but you're not, like, first of all, first thing that's good about the Superstar is that you're invincible, but you're not, like, fully invincible. Like, you could still fall into pits, and, like, with the Mega Mushroom, you can still technically fall into pits, but a lot of the pits are actually too small for you to fall into, so the Mega Mushroom, in that way, is really even better than the Superstar is, because it even gets rid of the problem of falling into a lot of lava or pits or whatever, if they're just not big enough for you to fall into them. So it's actually, in a lot of cases, even makes you even more invincible than the Superstar does. And I don't know if what lasts longer, Superstar or Mega Mushroom, or if it's the same. I haven't used the Mega Mushroom, like, long enough to actually know these things off the top of my head, to actually, like, form a hypothesis, a guess, an estimate of how long it takes comparatively to the Superstar. Honestly, I haven't even used, like, the Superstar that much to the point where I could give you an idea, give you a guess of how long it lasts. Because obviously that's one of the things that is really cool about the Superstar, is that it's a rare thing. And I think that in New Super Mario Bros. U, one complaint I have is that you get a lot of Superstars. Because you fight, like, these enemies, and you find, like, in the overworld. And the overworld in New Super Mario Bros. U is very cool. I'm definitely glad that they went back to having, like, an actual overworld map. What's wrong with me swimming? There's nothing wrong with you swimming, sir. It's good exercise. But, like, in New Super Mario Bros. DS and New Super Mario Bros. 2, they didn't have, like, an actual overworld map. Like, I mean, they had one, but it wasn't, like, a good one. Like, they had an overworld map for the sake of saying they had an overworld map, but it wasn't, like, an actually good overworld map. It wasn't like Super Mario World, where they had, like, all these branching paths and, like, secret exits on it. They did have some secret exits on the New Super Mario Bros. In the New Super Mario Bros. DS and New Super Mario Bros. 2 overworlds, but they didn't really, like, lead anywhere interesting. It was just sort of like, oh, it branches off in this direction, and then there's one level over here. Like, they weren't... The New Super Mario Bros. DS and New Super Mario Bros. 2 overworld maps, like, existed, but they weren't cool. They really weren't, like, interesting in any way. They were just kind of there. They were really just kind of straight lines with a couple levels branching off to the left or the right of Mario. And so I'm glad that New Super Mario Bros. U had those, had like an actually good overworld map. I haven't played New Super Mario Bros. Wii, really. Like, out of all the New Super Mario Bros. Games, that's the one that I haven't, like, actually played through fully. I think I've played, like, 1 or 2 levels total in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Because I had a 3DS, And so I was able to play, so like the first New Super Mario Bros. Game I played was New Super Mario Bros. 2. Then I went back and played New Super Mario Bros. DS, and like, wow, this crap's so much better. And I played that on the 3DS as well, because obviously you can play DS games on the 3DS. And I played New Super Mario Bros. U in the form of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. But I never had a Wii or a Wii U, so I never played the original New Super Mario Bros. U, which obviously, like, who cares? I played the Deluxe version. That's just better. It has Peach Head. You think the original's better? I don't know why you would. But just in case you do, come fight me in the comments, because I don't agree. I don't agree with this opinion that probably doesn't exist. I don't agree with those who oppose me, which probably there are none. But just in case there are, let the record show I don't agree with you. Cheap shot! But, I think there's some people up here. Yeah, another one of these, like, little boardwalks that are just in the middle of the ocean. Just like a piece of wood floating through the ocean. I got a big haul. Want to go for it? Sure. Is the big haul your money? Is that what I'm going for? Prize money? Like, what am I going for exactly? You got a big haul? You want to go for it? Like, am I stealing your Pokemon? Am I stealing the Pokemon you just caught? Like, you're saying I got a big haul, and you're a fisherman. At least I think you're a fisherman. You should be a fisherman, but in this, you're probably not a fisherman, because it randomizes all the trainer classes. I don't know what you actually are. I didn't really look, but, you are probably not a fisherman. I'm gonna go with the guess that you're not a fisherman. You're a swimmer. Okay, so instead of fishing up the fish, you actually just swam in the ocean and grabbed them. Like, you just went up to them, grabbed them, like brute force, grabbed them yourself. Who needs a fishing rod? You just swim into the ocean and grab them. That's honestly like the Breath of the Wild strategy. You know, you just like chuck bombs in the water, and then all the fish die, and then you just go over and swim to them and grab them yourself. Either that or you use like shock arrows, and then it does like the big field of shock that kills all the fish in the vicinity of the shot. That's really cool, how you could just, like, kill all the fish in a specific radius in Breath of the Wild, and then just, like, collect the bodies. It's really satisfying. Especially when you get, like, the big groups of fish together, and then you just, like, get them all in one go. Like, two birds, like, a bunch of birds with one stone, you know? Not even two, just, like, sometimes it's, like, 8. When you get, like, those big groups of fish, and you just, like, chuck a bomb in there, press your detonate button, and they just all flop over dead, and then you grab them all. It's like, we eating good tonight, Link, we eating good tonight. But, anyway, yeah, so, in, like, the big fault I see with the Mega Mushroom is that it makes you, one, it makes you too invincible. A couple big faults. One, it makes you too invincible. Two, by the time it was introduced, it makes you too invincible to the point where it's not even like, oh, you fall into pits. You fall into pits, so at least you're not fully invincible. Like, it gets rid of all that. It gets rid of a lot of the sense of challenge in the game, which I don't think, like, the Metal Cap and Superstar did, because at least then you could still fall into pits. And in Mario, there's a lot of pits. Like, you shouldn't underestimate how many pits there are in the game. It's like, oh yeah, you don't take any damage from enemies, or traditional traps or anything. You don't take damage from enemies, or spikes, or munchers, which are kind of enemies, but not really, because they just kind of sit there. Or, like, in the enemy category in Super Mario Maker, sure. But are they really enemies if they don't move? They just sit there, and you walk on them. With a Superstar, you don't kill them. Darn, Magikarp. You didn't have any Magikarp. Don't blame the Pokemon you don't have for your loss. You wanna know if the fish are biting? No, I don't really care, actually, because I already killed my encounter on this route. I'm sure of it. I haven't actually been checking, but I'm sure I did. There's no way I've gone this far on this route without running into a wild Pokemon. I know I've been running into a lot of trainers, and that disrupts, like, the wild Pokemon getting, you know, like, that like, separates, because if you're walking around and through the grass for a while, and you're surfing around in the ocean for a while, and then you suddenly run in, then it's gonna, like, the longer you're doing that, the bigger the chances that you're gonna actually, like, finally run into something. But that chance sort of gets disrupted when you fight a trainer. It sort of, like, gets in the way of you getting that encounter that you would have gotten probably if you did, like, a couple more steps, or swam a couple more tiles. I shouldn't say swam. You're not swimming. Pokemon is swimming. If you surfed a couple more tiles. So, like, yeah, I have run into a lot of trainers, which has probably gotten in the way of me encountering like a lot of encounters, but I'm sure I have gotten at least one encounter by now, so I have probably already killed my, my encounter. I feel like I've been killing a lot of encounters lately, and frankly, I have like backup mons in the PC, and they are really low level, but I really don't think I need any more encounters. Knocking on that wood really hard. Because I don't want to jinx myself. But, like, I honestly, we are doing so good. We haven't lost a Pokemon in a while. Knocking on more wood. So, I feel like, at this point, like, I may be getting a little bit cocky here, but I don't want to catch any more Pokemon. I feel like, yes, dang, I feel like, yes, it would be helpful to get, like, backup mons that are a higher level, because we do have backup mons in the PC, but they are not, like, as high level as the backup mons we could potentially catch here would be. Okay, now we've definitely encountered something, and if I recognize this Pokemon, then it means we've gotten the encounter here, and we killed it. Yeah, I definitely recognize a Graveler. I think the Graveler we found before may have been a trainer's, but I'm just gonna say, for sake of simplicity and for sake of, that I'm gonna say that us getting the Graveler here means that the Graveler we ran into before was a wild Pokemon. Like, because I'm sure we run into multiple Gravelers. Like, I think one Graveler was trainers, but I think that at a certain point we did run into a Graveler that was not a trainers, and there was a wild one, because I feel like we've run into multiple Gravelers this episode. And I don't think multiple trainers would have Gravelers. I think that one of those trainers may have been Gravelers, but at least one of them had to be, like, not a Graveler. Nope, at least one of those Gravelers had to be not a Graveler. My brain is not braining right now. At least one of those Gravelers had to be not a trainers, because there's no way that many trainers would have a Graveler. But anyway, as I was saying, big faults with the Mega Mushroom are that, like, yes, Superstar and Metal Cap do make you invincible to enemies, and, like, a lot of other stuff, it make you invincible to a lot of things, but it is still a platformer that you're playing. Mario is still a platformer at its core, so, like, yeah, there are all these enemies, and, like, it helps, obviously, to be able to just, like, run right through them, like, no problem killing them instantly, but a lot of the challenge, especially in, like, later Mario levels, does come from just, like, the platforming. So, making you invincible to enemies may be very, very helpful, but it by no means makes you invincible to everything. Like, there are still things that can definitely kill you when you have a Superstar and a Metal Cap. And, like, getting squished, and, obviously falling off the edge, falling into lava, falling into an abyss, falling into poison. And all those things are sort of less of an issue when you have a Mega Mushroom, because, like, if you get squished with the Mega Mushroom, then you just kind of go back to normal size, and you may still die at normal size, but it's more likely that, like, if you're getting squished with the Mega Mushroom, you're getting squished because you're too big. And then you'll just go back to normal size, and you'll no longer be getting squished. So, like, yeah, the squishing does take away your mega-ness. It does, like, take away the Mega Mushroom effect. It does take away your hugeness, but it does not actually kill you, which I think would have been a great way to balance it out, because the Mega Mushroom is, like, so OP otherwise. Because, obviously, like, the other things that can kill you, when you have invincible power-ups are, like, poison, lava, and, like, an endless abyss. And, like, all of those things, it helps, being big helps you, like, not die to them, too, because you are so big that you're, like, not gonna fall into pits of endless abyss, or poison, or lava, unless they're really, really large. So, basically, the one thing that could, and so, like, that makes it super OP compared to even, like, the other invincibility power-ups. Like, all invincibility power-ups are great to an extent, because obviously they make you invincible. But the thing about the Mega Mushroom that makes it so much more broken than Superstar or Metal Cap is because, like, falling into a pit of some substance that kills you, or even a pit with no substance, but just a never-ending pit that instantly kills you when you fall into it, at least with the Superstar or Metal Cap, that still remains a problem. Like, you're invincible to basically everything else. Like, there's not much besides that can kill you. But at least you are still able to be killed by that. Like, Mega Mushroom allows you not only to be immune to enemies and a variety of traps and stuff, but also makes it harder for you to get killed by those things as well, that pose a threat to you that still pose a threat to you when you have other invincibility power-ups. Because with the Mega Mushroom, you are bigger, so it is harder for you to fall into those pits. Those pits would have to be bigger. Those pits of those fatal substances, or nothing at all, that is just infinite abyss of nothing. Those pits have to be of a certain size. They have to be of a certain largeness for you to be able to fall into them with the Mega Mushroom. So with the Mega Mushroom, there are much less pits that can kill you. It cuts down on the amount of pits that are actually able to kill you. So these pits that would be able to kill you with other invincibility power-ups, a lot of them no longer can when you have the Mega Mushroom, because you're just too big to fall into them. So in that way, the Mega Mushroom is even more broken than is even more powerful than a lot of other invincibility power-ups are. Than all the other invincibility power-ups are, I would say. Except for, obviously, like, Invincibility Leaf, because that allows you to freaking fly. So then pits are no longer a problem with that one either. But that one is a whole other can of worms. But, yeah, we're just gonna end the episode here. Basic summary of what I'm saying is Mega Mushroom bad, too broken, other invincibility power-ups fine, because not as good as Mega Mushroom. Anyway, Mega Mushroom sucks. So, thank you all so much for watching, EV Clan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Alex Espion, signing off.